Let's be real for a second. We've all been there. You finish a great book or an important article and you feel really smart for about a day. Then a week later, it's like a foggy dream. It is so frustrating, right? Well, today we're going to fix that. We're going to break down how you can actually remember what you read. So here's the game plan. First, we'll talk about why this happens to everyone, the reader's dilemma. Then we'll get into a huge mindset shift, active versus passive reading. After that, it's all about practical tools, what to do while you're reading, and then how to lock it in after. We'll wrap up with the ultimate way to test if you really know your stuff. All right, first up, the reader's dilemma. Let's put a name to that feeling of information just slipping right through your fingers. And you know what? It's not just you. It is a completely normal scientific thing. I mean, seriously, this is the classic experience. You get to the end of a page and you think to yourself, what did I just read? You put in the time, you do the work, but the knowledge just evaporates. Well, you're not going crazy. There's actually a scientific reason for this whole phenomenon. It's called the forgetting curve. A philosopher named Hermann Ebbinghaus figured this out way back when. Basically, it shows our memory takes a nosedive over time unless we actively do something about it. And this number is wild. Research shows that if we don't do anything to review what we learn, we can forget almost 75% of it in a single day. One day. All that reading? Pretty much gone. So how in the world do we fight this forgetting curve? Well, it all starts with a huge shift in our mindset. It's about going from being a passive couch potato to an active player in the game of reading. Think of it this way. Passive reading is pure consumption. It's like standing under a waterfall of information. It just hits you and flows right past. But active reading, that's digestion. You're not just letting it wash over you, you're actually engaging with it, breaking it down, and making it part of you. And this quote from learning expert Justin Sung just nails it. The goal isn't to read more books or read faster. Who cares? The real win is retention. It's not about how much you can pour in, it's about how much actually stays in the bucket. Okay, so what does being an active reader actually look like in practice? Let's open up the toolkit and talk about a few really powerful things you can do the second you open a book. First thing, don't just read the words. Argue with them. Interrogate the text. Ask all those basic questions. Who, what, where, when, why, how. But here's the little trick that changes everything. Add the word else to each one. Who else was there? What else could be the cause? That one little word forces your brain to go deeper. Now, when you read something abstract, your job is to make it real. And this weird-looking acronym, CAVE-COGS, is an amazing tool for that. It just stands for all your senses. Think kinesthetic, like touch, auditory, what does it sound like, visual, emotional, all the way to olfactory, what does it smell like? By trying to connect what you're reading to your senses, you're building super strong hooks for your memory to grab onto. And please, ditch the passive highlighting. That's not really doing much. Instead, try taking active notes. A great way to do this is with index cards. You could put one single idea on each card. Or, here's a fun challenge, try to summarize an entire book on just one or two cards. It forces you to find the absolute most important stuff. So, reading isn't over when you close the book. I'm telling you, some of the most critical work for your memory happens after you're done reading for the day. Let's look at how to make that knowledge stick around for good. This right here is the #1 workout for your brain. It's called active recall. It is the complete opposite of just rereading your notes. You learn something, then you literally hide your notes and force your brain to pull that information out of thin air. It's hard, yeah, but every single time you do it, you're strengthening the path to that memory, making it easier to find next time.
So when do you do this? Is there a perfect time? You bet there is. To really beat that forgetting curve we talked about, you have to do your first active recall session within 24 to 36 hours. That is the golden window to stop the information from fading away.
Now, after that first big review, you can start to space things out. The 2-3-5-7 method is a super simple way to do this. You review again after 2 days, then 3 more days, then 5 more, then 7 more. You're basically catching the memory right before it's about to disappear, and each time you lock it in a little bit stronger. Okay, so you've been an active reader, you've used recall. Now for the final boss. This is the technique you use when you want to know if you truly understand something deep down. It's named after the brilliant physicist Richard Feynman, and it is brutally simple and effective. You just take an idea
and you try to teach it to someone else, or even just pretend to. The key is you have to use super simple language. The moment you get stuck, or you have to use a bunch of jargon, bam, you just found a gap in your own understanding. So you go back, you study up, and you try to explain it again, even simpler this time.
And this quote, which people often attribute to Einstein, is the absolute heart and soul of the Feynman technique. Real, true understanding isn't about using big, fancy words. It's about knowing something so well that you can break it down to its simplest, most basic parts. So let's just zoom out for a second and look at the whole journey. We started by identifying the enemy, the forgetting curve. Our main weapon against it? Shifting our mindset to active reading. Then we filled our toolkit with strategies for during reading, like questioning everything, and for after reading, like active recall. And finally, we have our ultimate test of knowledge, the Feynman technique.
Look, all of this is just more information that you could forget unless you put it into action. So my question for you is simple. Which one of these tools are you actually going to try? Just one. Maybe you'll use active recall on what you just learned here. Maybe you'll try the Feynman test on a coworker tomorrow. Pick one. Try it. And prove to yourself you can stop just reading and really start remembering.